Hi, this is Mike from BandLab, and in this video, we're going to look at how you can make music in BandLab using a combination of virtual instruments and samples from BandLab Sounds. You can open this project yourself at the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. Using samples and virtual instruments together in BandLab allows you to quickly make music, while also being able to put your own melodic and harmonic stamps on things in a way that you don't get if you're just using samples. Let's take a look at how we can quickly make a track in BandLab using a combination of these two approaches. Let's start by opening BandLab Sounds to find an inspirational starting point for our project. I'd like to make a house track, so I type house into the text search field. BandLab displays a selection of house-themed sample packs, so let's dive right in by opening the classic house pack. The first loop in this list is House Fly Melody 7. I feel like this would be a good starting point because I like the timbre of the sound, and also it only plays a single chord, which gives me a good amount of flexibility when it comes to creating my own bass line and melody line to accompany it. I drag the sample into the project, and BandLab asks me if I want to set the project key to the same key as the sample, in this case D minor. This will help BandLab automatically transpose any other musical samples I add to the project to the same key, so I select Set. The sample's original tempo is 124 beats per minute, and as this is the first thing we've added to the project, BandLab automatically sets the project tempo to 124 beats per minute. If we change the project tempo, BandLab will automatically time stretch the audio to fit, but using the original tempo allows the sample to sound its absolute best, so I'm going to stick with 124 beats per minute. Before I add any musical elements, I want to add a beat to get a groove going. I set the instrument filter to drum to filter out anything in the pack that isn't a drum loop. Let's check out some of these loops. House of Sound beat sounds pretty cool, so I drag that into the project too. These sounds work together well, but I can see that when played together they're clipping the master channel, causing it to turn red. This is generally to be avoided, so I turned the chords down to -6 dB and the drums down to -3 dB. Now I'd like to add a bass line. I click the plus Add Track button and select the Instruments option. I set the instrument to basses, synth basses, tropical house bass. I can play this sound along with the samples by clicking on the virtual keyboard, by using my computer's keyboard, or with the hardware MIDI controller. I activate cycle mode so that the music loops and I can experiment composing a bass line. I know the key of the sample is D minor, so I'm going to start with a D. I like this D, A, F, G pattern, so I hit the record button and play it in. My playing isn't perfect, but that doesn't matter because I can go in and edit the timing of the notes easily. I double-click the MIDI clip and zoom in so that I can see the 16th note grid. That's 4 divisions on each beat of the bar. Because BandLab's Snap to Grid mode is turned on, any moved notes will automatically snap to the grid, making them sound nice and tight. I like this bass line, so I duplicate it out for the rest of the 4-bar clip. To duplicate notes or clips in BandLab, select them, then hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag them over. We've got a cool groove going now, but I feel there's room in the mix for a melody line, so let's add another instrument. I add another track, again select Instruments, and this time select Keyboards, Synth Keys, Transpluck. This time I play a pattern that goes D, F, A. This harmonizes nicely with the chords and bass line. Again, I tidy the notes up and duplicate them over. This lead line sounds a little dry compared to the chords, which have a delay effect on them. Let's add our own delay to the lead. I open the Effects panel and add a Delay Filter Echo effect. I set the filter echo's delay time to 240 milliseconds. I set the lead and bass tracks to -3 dB. I'd like to add one more element before I turn this idea into a basic arrangement. I'd like a string sound to add tension to a breakdown, so I add another instrument track and set this one to Strings, String Orchestra. I create a new MIDI clip and add a single sustained note on D6. This track is a little loud relative to the other elements, so I turn it down to -6 dB. I create a mini arrangement by duplicating the audio in MIDI clips. It starts with just the drums and lead. Then comes a breakdown with the chords and string. Then the beat and bass drop. Finally, the lead is reintroduced. So there you have it, samples and virtual instruments, working in perfect harmony. You can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!